message out there, the common sense, our ideas, because the other party they're selling themselves, they're active, they're very organized, and this platform that you have going here is astounding in getting that message to the audience. This is what we have to do right here to get it, because we don't have the newspaper, definitely.
We don't have any of the media. I mean,
of the media. No, the professional.
We have to create our own media source, which I think we have through Rumble. And now that Elon Musk has bought Twitter, we have taken back pieces of it. Of course, the godfather or the founder of conservative talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, he's the one who allowed all this to take place. And he did it in spite of the attacks. And we're going to continue to get attacked. And the reason we get attacked is because we have a better message. We have a message of hope, a message of prosperity, a message of security, a message of propelling the American family into new levels. And that's not what the other side brings. They come to kill, steal, and destroy. They come, and we're going to cover this a little bit later, but I mean, this bill that currently is House Bill 4876, I think is 4876. Let me just get to it. Yep, it is Ann Stava Murray, I think that's how she goes by, but it is House Bill. Let me make sure I got the call numbers right to make sure it's House Bill 4878. 76. Which one is it? 76. It's House Bill 4876. I'm going to put it up on screen because I have the ability to add it to the stage, but then somebody's going to get knocked off. But that bill in of itself, Chad, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, I think I shared it with you, is the abortion and gender affirming care bill, where they're basically looking to do away with parental rights as it pertains to any of the decisions on behalf of your child. And it is scary, scary stuff. So, Chad, I've dived in deep real quick. Obviously, the title of the show is Parents' Rights Are Under Attack. You know about that. It's part of the reason that you jumped into the county board race. You are in County Board District 5 in McLean County. Let our audience know a little bit about who you are and how you got involved in this political process.
Great. Thank you. Thank you again for having me on here to introduce myself. My name is Chad Burke. Been living here in McLean County and Normal since 2007. My wife grew up in Normal, so we moved back after she finished her internship at the University of Iowa. She's a physician here in town, so we moved back to be closer to her family. And I grew up in Taylorville, so I'm not far from home at all.
Tractorville,
Illinois.
They call it Tractorville, right?
Tractorville, yeah. Drove around that square many a time.
Is it a square or an oval?
It's a square. It actually is the old square around there.
Do you only make left turns? Is it like the Daytona 500?
It is. It was always crowded when we were kids. But I've been around that square quite a few times as a kid. But lived here, raised my 3 children with my wife. Attended Epiphany. We were married at Old St. Pat's. Beautiful church right after it was just redone. And
on West Locust.
On West Locust,
yep.
Yes. Beautiful little church, and we attend there every once in a while. I still like to go back there. But getting into politics, I've always been kind of semi-active in politics, going to board meetings with the school board, city council meetings, things like that, and active online, writing articles. I'm a member of Gun Saves Life with John Bach, active with the Second Amendment. But I've just seen in the years that we've lived here, it going from the city councils especially, going from a semi-moderate conservative over to a more left-leaning like normal council, for example.
No, we've gone totally off the rails. Let's just call it like it is. We have gone to the wacko side of things. It is the
Yes.
land of make believe, because that's all they have. I'm sorry, I interjected all over,
No.
stepping all over you, Chad.
No, that's
The thing
okay.
is,
No, I'm
here
yes.
in the DPB show, I don't try to use profanity. I don't want to call people names, and it's hard not to call it out for what it is. It is crazy. And usually some people might say that it might be a little bat something crazy, because it is. You can't make this stuff up. And anyhow, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, and what really, I remember when we were doing pushing for the Tea Party, and everyone was fired up. And we got a lot of candidates from the Tea Party here in Illinois. And it was a great movement for us Republican conservatives. We were all excited, pushed, got a lot of people voted, a lot of conservatives that we thought. And then a few years later, we find out so many of them are gone now. They switched and became crazy to where, like Adam Kinzinger, what happened? He was one of the Tea Party guys, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And a few spent campaign funds inappropriately on things. And I think that is part of the problem with a lot of conservatives and Republicans presently. They remember those days and what happened, to the point.
Well, and you bring
money and fund campaign money today because of that. In addition to many other things.
We were just talking about that, when J.B. Pritzker, who came out and did his State of the State address the other day, he's going to continue to tout that he's had 9 credit upgrades. Of course, we had 22 credit downgrades before his 9 upticks. And his upticks only happened because we were able to get federal grant money with the crazy COVID crisis.
Right.
And he says that he's balanced the budget every year since he's taken over the governorship. And that is just not true, because what does it mean to balance a budget? It means that you're going to spend as much money as you misappropriate or appropriate, in their case, misappropriate. So I guess if you're claiming that you've spent every penny that you've appropriated, except for the fact that you deferred debt, that you unfunded liabilities like the pension crisis, which you're unwilling to address. So it stands that we know that we're this show rules. I was about ready to say, Ryan, you know what? She is conservative cat. The show rules.
She is.
I was going to say, Ryan, I don't know if I want you in the screen, because I usually depend upon you to be over there commenting. You can still comment, Ryan.
I know I probably should, just to keep it lively in the comments.
That's right. That's right.
But Chad, so what you were saying with Adam Kinzinger, whomever it is, because
whomever.
I want to get, whomever. It's such a broken system, not only at the local level, the county level. You and I had the privilege of seeing that firsthand, right? When we sat together during the application process to replace county 100%. Board member, and they ran up the money that they had received in COVID relief money.
Yes.
And they spent all of it, didn't they?
Of course. Yes. No rainy day funds. It had to be spent on these outrageous projects that we as taxpayers, why are we morally responsible? Again, another example for the migrants. Why are we as taxpayers morally responsible? Because we have to pay taxes. We have to as citizens. Unfortunately, it's a law. So all these people that showed up to that last meeting, that was crazy.
The resolution meeting
with Chuck.
Yeah.
They make it that us taxpayers are responsible for this. Well, maybe as a Christian, I am responsible morally. But we're not, the government is not responsible. Outside charity, as a Christian, I will donate or give my money and time to take care of the migrants that are here.
Yeah, it should be a choice.
A choice, 100%. There you go.
So I have a question about that before you finish. Yeah.
Yeah. they are worshipers of the government. They that worship or think the government is their God want us as taxpayers to fund their problems that they choose to be problems, not an outside charity. That's where we have fundamental differences between, I feel, as Republicans and conservatives than the other side.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
they are labeled as.
that meeting when they had three Republicans that joined the Democrats and shot down that proposal?
I believe
Did
it was
did
three.
they? It was, I think it was it Catherine and two
Catherine,
others?
Susan, and
What was the
unfortunately,
reason
I don't think
behind
Randy
them?
Knapp knew what he was voting for at the time
What
because it
was the
was his first
reason? Did
vote.
anybody give you a reason as to why they voted no?
Randy didn't have enough information. And
Because
then
it was
the
a pretty
other,
straightforward resolution. It was just to not use county sources on any illegal information.
correct. The other lady works for the health department, and she felt that since the health department is mandated to help all people regardless of politics. So, and my question is, who is she most loyal to? The citizens, voters,
or the health department?
or the health department? She should have then. Who should write it?
She
Make
could have
an oath to?
recused herself. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, let's just. I'm going to bring this thing to a head because obviously you said I had the biggest screen. So if I've got the biggest
you got
screen,
the big screen, bud. You got the gavel, man. The gavel.
Swing it.
So putting forth something when you know you don't have your party's consensus, where you don't have the caucus all voting in the same direction, it was poorly timed. The other thing is none of us are humans who believe that anybody should suffer and should live in a manner that these migrants are living in, like right now. I mean, freezing out in the cold, housed in airports, housed all over. It's just poor planning, right? It's intentional. It's a plethora. It's demographic destiny. It's replacement theory. No matter what phrase you want to apply to it, it's a broken system, a broken immigration system. However, we do have an immigration system that's in place. We just chose to use the executive branch, Joe Biden, who says that he follows the law, and Nancy Pelosi says that you should follow the Constitution, but yet they are not following the Constitution because they're not securing the border of the United States. And everyone that showed up there at that county board meeting, I believe it was an opportunity to tee off on the county board members and try to entice or elicit a response, like you just said, Chad, that for some reason, we don't care. You must not care about people. No, I care about people. In fact, I care about all of the sex trafficking going on, the human trafficking, what is transpiring, how we're trying to use people, because who wouldn't want to come to America, the land of the free, the home of the brave? Who wouldn't want to live in the land of milk and honey? Of course they do.
Yeah. Well, and Democrats locally and nationally always appeal to emotions. So what drives up people's impulse decision to vote no or yes? It's emotions, right? So Democrats always appeal to emotions. How dare you? Don't you care for people? They're people too. Well, we all know that, but at the expense of our own capital here, I don't think that should be the case. It's not fair for American citizens to be able to foot the bill for that.
Right. For a manufactured problem.
Yeah. For a created one. Yeah.
Right. But Democrats are always known for creating a problem, already having the solution in mind.
Yeah.
And then not only do they have the solution, but they also seem to profit from it in some way too.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and I think if we were going to put forth something, which I know that there are other counties now that have decided to go ahead and adopt the non-sanctuary status because we're a sanctuary state. LaSalle just did it 24-0. Grundy County's done it, and the other counties are doing it. It's a plan, really, is what it's saying. Is if we're going to have an influx in population, how are we going to service those people? What can we bring to the equation? Because they're going to be here. I get that. And until we have a changing of the guard at the highest level, the presidency, we're not going to see us anytime soon where our border is shut off, the
Mhm.
traffic, the flow of people. And Governor Abbott, justifiably is saying, no, I'm not going to leave them all here. I'm going to do what we should have done as a county. For all of the people who stood up and said, I want to help. Well, the quickest way to help is to house and provide.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe it's not the responsibility of us as taxpayers in McLean County or in the state of Illinois or as United States citizens, but it's up to the people who, if their feelings about this are so, if they're so convicted, then it's time that they start opening their homes. That's what the gentleman, the city council person of Naperville said. He said,
Mhm.
okay, I get it. I don't want to be looked at somebody that wants people to live and freeze out in the cold, starve to death, even though we've been doing that for years, right? We've had veterans starving in the streets for years. We have a homeless population, and suddenly those people don't matter. But what does matter are the people coming across our border illegally. They're the ones that need special privilege.
Yeah. So what was it the other day? The VA, that the Biden administration VA is now handing out benefits to illegal immigrants. You can't even get the services for veterans in this country, but now they're going to start handing them out to illegals coming across the border.
Look at this commenter.
I don't know that guy at all.
Oh, you know that guy. Personally, you know that guy. That you are the
He's the reason why I am who I am.
You're the flesh of his flesh. You are the offspring.
Yeah.
Jerry says the U.S. is aware that the UN and others are funding, directing, and facilitating everything with NGOs. In Panama, Laura Lomer is down there. Yeah, I saw that she was. And she's jumping on buses and making people very uncomfortable, which Laura Lomer can make people uncomfortable. My friend Joe Alexander happened to be with her in Iowa when she made Ron DeSantis very uncomfortable in his hotel because she was asking him questions. Once again, I think it's so cool that we ask questions. And I didn't finish the comic, but Jerry went on to say that Catholic charities paid by the government to hide the funds, and it is. There's so much in the. Where do you start dissecting?
Where do you start?
Where do you start? But Chad, your position is, I can start here at home. I can, I think I heard that yesterday at the Lenten breakfast, the Emmanuel Bible Foundation Lenten breakfast. They retell the story about the little girl standing on the seashore, tossing a starfish back into the ocean, and older gentleman. You guys have heard this story, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Where she's tossing him in. He goes, honey, there's thousands. You're never going to make a difference. And she goes, well, I did for this one.
Oh.
And I think that's why you are, as she tossed each one back in, I think that's why you're doing what you're doing, is because you can impact a change right here locally. Politics is local. And as we know, we have gone off the rails, whether it be the town of Normal, the city of Bloomington. Just show me the outcomes. That's what I say. Mboka, if things are working in Bloomington, then why aren't things working? Why aren't our streets all paved?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, you've got it. Why aren't they working in the town of Normal? The debt keeps rising. In McLean County, we've been able to manage a literal stalemate, right? Because the board's made up of 10 Democrats, 10 Republicans. We haven't gone into debt yet, but that's because we have inadvertently continued to raise the levy, right? What we're doing is the assessed values are going up. So we say, well, we haven't voted for any new taxes. Well, no, because it's automatically happening. You're not also decreasing the tax rate either. And that's what we're faced with. Besides, usually the county board didn't deal in social issues until this migrant thing. But at the very least, these things are coming to a town near you. They had to take a stance on some of the moral issues. I think COVID was a moral issue. I think they were talking about putting people, or at the very least, arresting people with the mask hysteria that was out there. So these are things you're going to talk about, Chad, when you're
Yes.
on the county board, and
Yes.
and the opponent that you have is Lizzie Johnson,
the captain of the team. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, well, I mean, you had an experience with her that same day that we were applicants for the county board seat. She was not so nice to you. Obviously, she wanted to call you out and put you on the proverbial spit and start a large fire beneath you.
Yeah, she was the one that asked she actually didn't ask the question. She started asking about my arrest that I had in front of my home the night I was attacked by
I remember that.
the stalker in front of my house. But she was you could tell she didn't want to, or she wanted to, but she was not comfortable exactly doing it and was whispering the question. So I asked her, I said, "Are you asking me about my arrest?" And I made her ask the question because I wanted her to have to say it. And yeah, she is just, she plays that passive aggressiveness very well.
Yeah.
The fake hurt on Facebook, all of them do, where they play hurt. Just like the other day, one of them was on Facebook, and I replied to one of their Facebook posts. It was about the citizens group on Facebook that was out there, and they were like, "Oh, we better get active and try to get this Facebook group taken care of, under control." And they got it banned off of Facebook.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that one too.
And it made a big deal. And I replied on there. I said, "I hope you're happy about your successful censorship of free speech."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, it sounds like you're paranoid." And you see the attack and the name calling immediately.
Yeah.
Well,
and I didn't reply back, of course, because I just wanted that initial.
Do not engage. This is what I say.
Yeah.
Do not engage. Never engage those people. I was just sharing that with I think it was Desi Anderson, candidate for the 91st state rep seat here in Illinois. She's going against Sharon Chung. Obviously, Sharon is not she's not a Democrat. I don't know. She is more of a socialist,
creature,
communist, Marxist. Yes.
All
some
the
of the
above.
legislation, all the above. But I was telling Desi about when I made application for the county board because John had abruptly retired. We didn't have a lot of notice that John was going to step down. So we also didn't have a candidate. I wasn't aware that Chad was going to put in an application. Randy was rumored that he would put in an application. Then suddenly he didn't or hadn't at that point. So we were looking at not having an applicant, which is an easy vote. If you don't have anybody to seat for the vacation or the vacated seat, then you've got a problem. But when I was the only applicant before Chad put in his application, Crystal Abel took to Facebook. Yeah. She couldn't wait. And she started just, calling, once again, it's the same old, he's an insurrectionist. Look what he's done. He doesn't care about people. He's a baby killer.
Well, these are the same people that won't come on and debate us about these local issues. They'd rather hide behind the keyboard and call us names. They won't talk to us in person and give their side.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Well, they're always welcome. Like I said, they're always welcome here because it's going to be a lively discussion, and I don't allow name calling. I want to hear. Then what? What's next? How are we going to move the vehicle that we're all going in a direction that fiscally makes sense?
Right.
And for me, in my conviction, it has to make spiritual sense. Yes. And you'll say, well, don't you honor my spiritual side of things? Well, yeah. Tell me what your spiritual side of things are, because I'd like to hear.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, I think that we all have opinions, but at the end of the day, we still reside here in McLean County, Illinois. We have only so much money to spend before we, finally, I don't know if we can tax the people of McLean County, the people of Illinois, any greater level than we currently are. We know we're losing population out of the state. Another thing that J.B. Pritzker continues to lie about, he says, no, the census was wrong. We haven't lost population. And maybe he's right if you start taking into consideration all of the illegal immigrants who have come to the state of Illinois as a sanctuary state. Maybe we haven't lost population, but what we have lost is revenue.
Yes.
We've lost significant amounts of money from people who would have been paying taxes. So it's an ongoing problem. So that's why I say, where do you start? But Chad, tell the audience, I know that we could go on like this for a very long time because I do want to get, and I do want to keep you on because I want to hear your opinion on House Bill 4876. But tell the people about your run. You don't have a primary. You are going against Elizabeth Johnson. She did call you out at the executive committee meeting when they were trying to interview the candidates for to fill the seat. She was very uneasy. You did put her in a position when you fired back. I don't think she did her research on what exactly happened in your front yard that night that
I
you
heard
were
all about
arrested.
that story, and I couldn't believe some of the attacks that were against you. Like this dude was defending his front lawn and getting stabbed multiple times, and you're attacking him instead of the other individual that actually attacked him.
Yeah, I was frankly surprised. I thought they would kind of leave that out, maybe ask explain exactly what happened,
Right.
or were charges dropped,
Yeah.
etc. Which I kind of expected that, because I can understand not wanting a board member who is a convicted of a felony. Totally get that.
Well, so it's interesting you bring that up because at this breakfast I was at yesterday, I know I keep referring to him. Before I get to that, I want to read this Amanda McKenzie. I don't know. Is this the McKenzie show? We got Jerry, we got Amanda, we got Ryan. But
I got a small following.
You do have a following. That's what bothers me most. Our veterans are being treated like garbage while illegals are flooding in. Our veterans should be given the most assistance, protection, and respect. Right there in camera is a veteran. Chad, you're a veteran of the United States Army, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's what I thought. But I wanted to take Amanda's comment, but I also want to make sure that, and I want to drop that comment down real quick. And this had to do with Elizabeth and her questioning. And I think I might have lost it for a second because sometimes DPB can't move all the buttons at the same time and hit everything. Look, we got other commenters. See, I get, it's like squirrel. You go over to the comment, but there was a point about that, Chad, and I do want to get on with the discussion about this bill, this House bill that has been put forth. But during that discussion, I applaud you for holding your ground. Obviously, it was a coup d'etat. It was an attack. They were laying in wait. Eventually, we did get the person we wanted to be on the board anyway, because we had 2 seats out of District 5. But District 5 has you pitted with no primary. However, it's vital and critical to restoring McLean County to get us back on track, literally back on track because we are off track, that we get you into office in that county board seat. So it's, Chad, it's up to you, man.
Yeah,
you got to go after it. We've got to put you in a position where and support you any way we can, whether it's time, talent, and treasure. I know that you're starting to build out your team. It's easy when you don't have a primary because you're the guy on the ballot. Just so you know, I voted for you already. I also voted for Randy. There isn't an opposition in either one of those county board seats on the Republican side, so there's no primary. But the purpose of today was to get you out here, get you on
Sure.
the DPB show, have you talked to people. I know you've been on Kat's show. I saw Kat's commenting over here. She says Nazis. Well, because that's what that's how they kind of refer to us. And
That's what they call
Amanda
it.
also, and
Yes.
Amanda says thank you for the service. And I have a beautiful comment from my wife. If things are working in Bloomington, then why aren't things working in Bloomington? Best quote of the day. But that's also throughout the county. But Chad, I'm glad that I'm getting myself back on track on the DPB show.
Yes.
Tell us what you're doing to win this office.
The first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to get as much word out to the people I can by personal visits, going door to door, getting my name recognition out there, my name out there. I've also been trying to contact some of the local state candidates that are running, the senatorial candidates for state
In the 53rd, yeah.
in the 53rd, and some of the other candidates like Deering and that, and working with them,
Regan,
Regan.
in the 88th, yeah.
88th, and just working with through their candidate campaign
campaign
will
teams,
help
yeah.
my campaign. You know, if I can, while I'm introducing them, I can also put my name.
That's wise. That's wise.
Well, because I want to help them succeed too,
Right.
and get
well, and that's where it all stems from is helping each other as we're out there campaigning, but more
Yes.
importantly, getting in direct contact with the voters. Obviously, the platform like this is something that continues to push the messaging out there.
Yes.
I started to say this at the beginning of the show, but I was so enamored with the triple screen pictures of having three people in there that I lost myself again. But exactly. But so the McLean County Republican Party and other counties have a great responsibility in competing during these election seasons, on helping the messaging. And I don't care if you have a primary or not. If you had a primary, Chad, like I'm going to have Chuck Erickson on the show next week. Chuck is in a primary with Regan Deering. Regan's been on my show, but it's important that we highlight what the conservative Republican message is. And if you're not a conservative Republican, that's okay. I get it,
totally.
but you're going to have to come on this show and defend why it is that you don't believe the conservative Republican way is the best way. I know that there are plenty of moderates out there. I don't think it's kind of like the quote my wife just put up. If the moderate Republican way was working in Illinois or in anywhere, then why isn't it working? In fact, you had mentioned the reason we had an Adam Kinzinger with the Tea Party was because people were fed up. See, for too long, we've ignored the consent of the people, the consent of the governed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what brought about the Tea Party.
Right.
And now we're in the position we are. Do you know the last time that the General Assembly in Springfield actually wasn't a supermajority? In fact, I'll even follow up with another question. Do you know the last time that the Republicans actually held one of the branches of
Like
the
95,
General Assembly? Yeah. You go back all the way in the
97,
early 90s.
90s.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I think it would be in the 90s.
So over
has the number.
30 years since we've actually had a majority
Yeah.
in either the House or the Senate in Springfield. So we have been under it, and it's tyrannical rule. You know,
It is.
the story that was told by Representative Dennis Tipsword was that Chris Welch,
Mm-hmm.
the Speaker of the Democrat Party in the House, calls them the Great 78 because there's 78 Democrat state reps in Springfield. Never before in the history of Illinois has one party had so many state reps. And they
Mhm.
call themselves the Great 78 now.
Mm.
And this is, I mean, this is a big issue. We know we're on the cuspice. We're on the precipice of losing the county board here. It's a 10-10 tie.
Mhm.
Obviously, Chad winning a seat against Lizzie would make that 11-9. That's how important this seat is, because ultimately all politics are local. They start local. And if we don't take back the county board, then they're going to have layups. Now, will they be able to implement change on the countywide basis as you would if you were a state, in the state house or the state senate? No, because the counties do things different,
They do it different.
and they control different things.
Yeah.
So,
But
Go
also, if I can get Lizzie off the board, if we can, as a party and as voters, it's even more important because she is the co-chair or the I forget her title on the board off the top of my head, but she's in charge. She's the vice chair and also the pseudo head of the Democrats on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How she votes is how all the Democrats vote, regardless.
They're in lockstep. Yeah.
They're in lockstep.
They're not like Republicans. The
Republicans don't do it that way.
Oh, not even close.
On the board, they're very, very each one will vote their own mind, their own heart.
Well, they're squishy, just like Dan Bongino calls about.
They are squishy. Very
They're
good.
squishy.
Yeah, but Don is right when he says that. For right or wrong,
Yeah.
we as Republicans vote logically according to our thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We won't just vote in lockstep.
Right.
When we start talking about thinking, and I don't know how well this is showing up on screen.
That's pretty well.
Commenter in the comment section, Brad Worth, is saying, like Scott Preston. Yeah, that's for another show, Brad. But Brad, you're right. I mean, we can go on and on and on about how broken the Republican Party is. And it is. On the DPB show, I'm not going to candy coat it. I'm not going to lie about the state of the Republican Party. It's part of the reason that I got involved, because I believe that taking another page out of Dan Bongino, I'll vote for a Republican every day over a Democrat. Republicans aren't the solution to all of our problems, but I am certain that Democrats are the cause of all of our problems. Unequivocally, Elizabeth Johnson being one of the people, the ringleader of the county board, another ringleader in the state level is this gal right here, featured on the screen, Anna Murray Stava Murray. She is. I can't even bring myself to hardly read this, because we have shared it and we need you to go out and definitely, all of you that are listening, share this House bill. You can find it. I'm going to put it up in the comments. It's at illinoisga.gov. It's House Bill 4876. It amends the Abused and Neglected Child Reporting Act. Provides that the abused child means a child whose parent or immediate family member or any person responsible for the child's welfare or any individual residing in the same home as the child or the paramour of the child's parent denies the child access to necessary medical care. What is necessary medical care as defined by the liberal left? It's going to go on to tell you that, including, but not limited to, primary care services. Well, I don't know that very many parents or guardians deny their children primary care services. So we need to go a little deeper. Abortion services. So there you go. You can't deny your child an abortion service. So they're doubling down. They came up with
I am not providing murder to my child.
Yeah.
That's plain and simple.
it says here that you will be obviously required
And I'll
as
take the
as
repercussions.
any one of the above mentioned positions. You obviously are a parent, Chad, but so abortion services and gender affirming services executed by a minor is not voidable because of such minority, provides that the health care professional rendering abortion services and gender affirming services shall not incur civil or criminal liability for failure to obtain valid consent or professional discipline for failure to obtain valid consent if the health care professional relied in good faith on representations made by the minor. So now we have the 12-year-olds making the decision on whether, oh, look at that, that's a different look.
Yeah.
Hey,
So if this is
now
if
I'm on the same
if they
size.
don't
What
agree,
happened?
right?
What's that?
If the kids don't agree with the parents' decision to stop it, right? This is what they want the kids
Yes.
to decide and not the parents overstepping that. So if little Susie gets pregnant at 12 and she wants to get the abortion, I can't come in and say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and not. I don't
You
agree with
have
that.
to let her
You have to let her. And if you're
provide it.
yeah, if your Tony wants to be a Tanya, you have to let him because they'll take your parental rights away. This is not if just a general thing. This is if the kid wants to do it, then they step in and say, "Well, we have to let them do it."
What's
You
the
have to
minimum age? What's the minimum age?
18,
Probably
right?
6.
No,
For
nope.
consent.
Next guest.
What's the
6.
minimum age?
It was already decided at 12. So,
Oh, so
What
12
I
was the age in
what I
this bill?
believe,
Wow.
is happening here is they are trying to move beyond the age of 12 as the age of consent. We have a county board member in McLean County, Corey Byrne, who in a public forum, a school board meeting,
Yes. I was there.
stated
Mhm.
that he believes the age of consent should be 9 years of age.
He
I
teaches
believe these
consent.
people,
Mm.
and when I say these people, I'm talking about the deranged, left-leaning, socialist, Marxist, Democrat Party, because this is where, I mean, I'm not reporting anything. We put our bill. This isn't a Republican bill.
Yeah.
This is a Democrat bill put forth. You can read it for yourself. Once again, right up here in the where it says witness slip, please go out there, encourage everyone to fill one of those out. Yes, it slows the process down. It can hang up in committee. If you just please oppose, and if you need help with that, reach out to me. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just fill in your name. You're opposing everything, and no, you don't want to make an appearance in the General Assembly, nor do you have to. So that is the essence of what we need to do. But getting back to it, I think Conservative Cat actually chimed in over here. Let me go. And she said, because 12-year-olds. Oh, here, I'll put it up on screen. Yeah, because 12. Oh, why didn't that come up on screen? Oh, there it is. Because 12-year-olds vote, and
They don't vote, but
they
they do consent after
Yeah.
you indoctrinate them.
Yeah.
Because there's certain groups of people that enjoy that. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. Certain groups want. And once that becomes normal part of society,
Mhm.
because think about in the past 20 years, what has become the norm? And that a lot of people are accepting that we weren't accepting 20 years ago.
Mhm.
That was taboo. Are you even allowed to say anything's taboo nowadays? No, we were taught taboo in society. And what was taboo in psychology class? Are they even taught about taboo in psychology?
No, because everything's accepted now.
Everything's accepted. You're not taught. Even the word, I don't think, is taught.
You know, the interesting thing, and this is kind of going off into somewhat of a rabbit hole, but my wife put up a posting of a crystal. And the crystal itself had a key with it, and she would have to do a much better job. Go to her Facebook page and look at what she put up there. But the key was to unlock a magic box of something. The crystal is defining, and this is kindergarten, first grade. It's getting kids into Wicca, an alternate belief system, one that's satanic.
Earth
I'm going to
Mother.
call it for what it is. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly, because all of it is definitely not about the God that we believe in of Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac.
Right.
It is a way of brainwashing. The indoctrination process happened going back in our state, but in around the nation back 30 years ago. And I would say further back than that, when we started sowing into the minds of people this whole land of make believe, because that's what I call it. I don't know what else to call it. We have a governor who will stand up and give a state of the state address and basically lie and tell people that, and they just go right along with it. And that's what they're doing. They're lying to these young people. It is
Yes.
child abuse. You know,
But
when she
who are the
referred to
who are the
this
most
as the
impressionable
abuse,
people? You have to understand that. Who are the most impressionable people that they can control? Kids. If they can
Kids.
control the kids and the youngest generation, they can control everything else they need to do.
Right.
well, I find it ironic that they call this, it amends the Abused and Neglected Child Reporting Act.
Of course, they always mix the words for something.
The abused child?
Yeah.
For
Abuse?
what they're wanting to do.
Genital
They change it
mutilation? Oh my gosh. Performing? And once again, if a 12-year-old is pregnant, the only way that happened was based on a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I want to
Yeah.
talk about the crime
Right.
before I want to talk about the
See,
abortion.
that's where you're wrong. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the after effect. They don't care about the crime being committed.
Because somehow that child was impregnated.
Right.
As far as I know, we still have a law in the book that would be called statutory rape.
Mhm.
But yet nobody wants to address that. And because
That was
what they're going to do, they're going to say
Yeah.
that it's possible that it was another minor that impregnated him, but really the one that they run to is it was the father or the stepfather or an
Right.
adult who impregnated them. And why should they have to relive that trauma? And why should they have to live in that household? And all of these excuses, because I don't know what else to call them, deflections,
Yeah.
because the incidence of that happening is so rare.
Yeah.
Now, horrific as it is, believe me, I want to get to the bottom of it. I don't believe a child should be in a position where they are being impregnated by anyone. And that's what we should be resolving rather than figuring out a means of circumventing
Well, we talked about it earlier. It's the appeal to emotions. How dare you put that little girl through that trauma? How about you
Right.
go after the criminal that engaged in that trauma committing? I mean, you can play emotions with it, but you can take it out of it and go after the criminal that allowed this to happen. You don't have to appeal to emotions about this. It's the same message with abortion. Well, what if she's gonna die and she could lose the baby and the baby couldn't survive? Well, those are the rare cases, but they're stumping for abortions to justify all abortions through the rare instances in which those things happen.
Yeah, and it's not going to stop. It is crazy, but I guess what I wanted to get across today on the DPB show, and I so appreciate all of you that have joined us, and I know that we're up against the end of the show with an hour. Hour goes real quick when you have three guys in the screen.
Yeah.
It does go fast.
I mean, too fast. But what I wanted to get across was not only your candidacy to impact change. I have no idea what's over your left shoulder, or maybe it's your right shoulder. It looks like a crossbow or something. What is that, Chad?
Mine?
Yeah. Do you
That's for
not see
when
that
they
in your
yeah,
screen?
that's for when they pass the
Oh, that's your
abusive-
microphone.
Oh, yeah, that's my mic. Yeah.
It
That's
looks
my
like
mic.
a crossbow or something. Look at that. I'm like,
Uh,
what is that? That is a high-tech microphone.
yeah.
That's my sure.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna have to work. You got a little reflection down here. See,
I see that. I can't
We
figure out what-
got to figure out how to dial that in. I think Ryan can help you with that. But what I
Is
wanted to
there
get
a
across
window?
today.
Is there a window on that?
Oh,
There you
I see
go.
it. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't figure out where that was coming from either.
Well,
Professional
now I
training.
can definitely tell you that looks not like an X-wing fighter or a crossbow or whatever it was that I started going. I was like, man, he's really making a statement there with the crossbow standing.
There we go. That'll be next time.
That's
you
right.
go. He's
But I
prepping.
wanted the audience, and I want everyone to know that three guys having a conversation about the craziness, about being off the rails, and obviously this legislation, as the title of the show says today, parents' rights are under attack. They're more than under attack. They desire to totally eliminate the parental involvement. That's the stairway to communism, is to alienate the children from the parent.
Yep.
Once you
Break
get the
down the
parent out of the
nuclear family.
equation,
Mhm.
you have a full-fledged. You talk about doing a phi slamma jamma from the free throw line.
Oh yeah,
You're throwing down dunks all day
100%.
long, and that's what they're moving towards. They want to eliminate parental involvement, parental consent. They know if they can get to that. Obviously, the Dems here in McLean County, they know if they can get the county board, they've got the city council, they can start controlling the state or the county-wide races, because right now they don't have a Democrat in any of the county-wide offices, and partly because the county still is controlled by Republicans. There's still 7,000 more Republicans in McLean County than there are Democrats. As
Mhm.
George Wendt pointed out, the Democrats have overtaken the urban areas or the cities. I mean, if you can call Bloomington normal, but they've infiltrated, right? Because that's what they do best.
Right.
And
You see
they're going.
Jerry's comment? Do you
What's
see,
that?
Jerry's comment on there, real quick.
Which one? Which the top one here?
The next one down there.
Okay.
I thought that was funny. That's
Yeah.
very true. I love it.
Hey, Chad, have you met Jerry McKenzie?
I don't think so.
Go out
I
to the
don't
Lake
think
Road End sometime. Every now and then,
Okay.
the times that I met Jerry was at the
He
Lake
sounds
Road
like
End.
my kind of guy.
Oh
My
yeah.
kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a peach.
Totally
He is.
and Jerry,
probably
I'm armed 24/7, brother. Never leave home without it.
he's armed on the show. You know what? Hey, Ryan, we should get your dad to come on the show. Do you think
Well,
he would?
here's the thing: you'd have to have a dump button for everything he says. So I don't know if your Christian ears could hear that, because he would go off on a tangent, and you would probably have to dump a lot of the show.
We could have veteran Saturday, veteran Friday or something.
Yeah, we'll do DPB after dark, and we'll have a bunch of guys on and just drink and just talk.
The first time I met Jerry, he went on a tangent. And I said, "Wow, this guy is just." You talk about, lively, and he is, and he's so passionate, and I love to see him engage and obviously enjoy his comments. But it's not a dump button. I mean, no, I wouldn't. he says he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't. He'd be good for it. I think if we got him on the show, we could keep him. And fortunately, here on the DPB show, now that I'm not on the radio, Jerry, you have full liberties to exercise your constitutional right. It's called the First Amendment. And yes, do I enjoy colorful language? It's interesting. I don't use it myself. It's not something that I spend a lot of time. And if DPB uses one of those colorful metaphors, you better stand back, because things have really gotten to a whole new level.
You're hot.
I try not to, but I don't condemn anybody that does, because really, this world is in a serious state, and I know that we're doing something about it. That's the beautiful thing. The Ryan Mac show, obviously, Ryan, you shared that, right? Your show up here somewhere.
Yeah, I appreciate
in the comments.
Yep.
I tried to get it out there, because you can't highlight it, can you? Here it is.
No, not on your end, because
there you go. There it is.
Yep, there you go.
Look at that. I'm doing it for you. See,
Great.
Go out there. You can see it. Go back in the comments. It is the Ryan Mac show. I don't know what button I just pushed there, but it's all good. Chad, do you have a Facebook page built yet for your county
Not for the
board?
campaign, but I'll get one out there real quick.
Well, you know what, Chad, we have talked about that. We're going to help you do that. I mean, it's
Okay.
important that the McLean County Republicans step up. It just as equal as it's important that we get rid of Sharon Chung out of the 91st district. It's important we get Chad Burke, Randy Knapp, and we continue to hold the advantage, or at least a 10-10 tie. But I think we're going to win back some seats. We're facing unprecedented times, unparalleled times. I mean, there's nothing like what we're facing, and it's coming to a county board near you. I mean, we're going to continue to see this walked out in each one of our county seats. And McLean County historically has always been a strong county when it comes to security, when it comes to a good place to live. We rank as one of the best places to live in the United States. And there was a reason for that, because crime was low.
Yes.
The economy was flourishing. Taxation was under control, and our school systems were second to none. But when our schools now, Unit 5, District 87, rank right up there with the rest of them, not putting out a student who's proficient in reading, writing, and arithmetic, then we've lost our way totally.
Agreed.
All right. Well, we're at the hour mark. Ryan knows that I don't like to keep people on here longer than an hour, but you're right. We could have gone 2 hours, and
easily.
there's plenty of topics to hit
Definitely.
upon. But I'm going to end it because I've got a little assignment to do tonight myself. But I look forward to coming back and obviously
I would
continuing the
love to
conversation.
anytime I'm invited.
Well, Chad, I'm going to have you on. I've got a couple other candidates, obviously, that I want to get on. But really, I want to continue to highlight you because you are running as a first-timer, and there's a lot that I think we need to inform the public about who Chad Burke is. We kind of only scratched the surface today, so I want to definitely bring you back on so you have an opportunity to highlight some of those things. You're going to experience a lot of things going forward through the primary once you're officially declared, which you will be, the nominee or the candidate for County Board 5 against Lizzie Johnson. We want to get on and definitely differentiate between you and Elizabeth Johnson. It's pretty easy difference to highlight. So we will do that. Like I said, I always wish my audience the peace that surpasses all understanding. I tell them this, guys, I love you, but Jesus loves you more. God loves you more than I can ever love you. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I don't love as much as God loves. I don't know if I am capable of loving like that, but this is a format that's going to continue. It's going to continue to build on not only on the McLean County Republican Facebook page, but the DPB show page, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, X. I say Twitter X. I keep calling them two entities, and they're only one. Twitter X. But we just keep pushing the message out there. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the stream, but until next Tuesday, join us on the other side. We look forward to seeing you then. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Nice to see you, Ryan.
Yes.